Good morning, everyone. I am Jennifer Tarle with Tarle Speech, and I am excited to be back here today for a YouTube Live. It's been a minute since we have done one of these, and so I am super excited about this. So today what we're going to do is we are going to talk about Canon events. We are going to learn how to pronounce that, and then we are going to work on some words that may be canon events in your life. They've happened to many people. If you do have questions, you could go ahead and put those in the chat, and I will answer some questions at the end of the day. All right. So without further ado, let's get started and talk about a canon event, recovering from pronunciation mistakes. So what is a canon event? I just found out recently that this is a Gen Z term for an unavoidable defining moment that shapes who you are. It's often awkward or challenging, but it is essential for growth. So we've all been there. We've all made pronunciation mistakes. I am one of those people included. It just happens. And so what do? It kind of feels like a disaster and it's so embarrassing. But let's figure out a way today to take that mistake and turn it into your advantage to demonstrate your resilience to everyone around you. Okay. So again, it's not about the stumble. It's not about that. We all make mistakes, but it's about how you recover. So what do you typically do when you make a pronunciation mistake? I think a lot of people will say like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But how about if we flip that script a little bit and just pause, gather our thoughts, and then start again? That's going to show people, yeah, these things happen and we're just going to keep going. All right, so let's look at some IPA here. And let's talk about how do we pronounce canon event. So the stress is important here. So you can look at the phonetic spelling at the bottom, or you can look at the little apostrophes. That is marking the stress on each syllable. And so we are going to stress syllable number one, can. And we are going to stress syllable number four, vent. So it's going to be canon event, canon event, canon event, canon event. So for this, you are going to open your mouth really, really wide for that ah sound. So I'm working with a person right now, and she struggles with this ah sound. So a couple of things. Make sure that your mouth is open in a really wide circle. Ah. The back of your tongue needs to be pulled high up. So the back of your tongue is pulled high up. The tip of your tongue is low. The tip of your tongue is low, and it needs to be forward in your mouth. So it's not ah like that. It's ah. And you can see the tip of my tongue low there. Ah. If this is a struggle for you, this really helped my student. You can think about touching the bottom front teeth. Now, technically, you don't have to do that, but that's going to help you get your tongue into the correct position for that. All right. So that's for syllable number one. And then I want you to think about schwa schwa, which is quick, quick for those next two syllables. Okay. So you want that to be reduced, meaning it's quicker, it's shorter, it's lower, it's softer. All of those things. We want it to be just less emphasized. So a mistake that I hear with a lot of people is that they get the stress and the stress is sounding great. You're stressing a syllable. But don't forget, then the other syllables need to be less stressed. So you're going to reduce that and make that less stressed. Okay, so let's give this a try a few times. I will say it, just listen. And then we'll do repeat after me. And then I'm going to have you just try it on your own. Okay, so just listen. Canon Event. 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 Now repeat after me. Canon. Canon. Event. Event. Canon Event. Canon Event. Canon Event. Canon Event. All right. Now, I do have a video on the word canon and canon. So these words are homophones, and they are pronounced exactly the same way. And so you can check out that video to learn how to pronounce canon. And let me get you the link, and I will actually put this in the chat for you. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can, or a replay, you can go to YouTube at Tarle Speech, and you will have all of those clickable links. And so that is the video for, and let me put the actual title in here. Okay, so there you go. And I'm going to put that all together so you have that. Okay. All right. So if you make a mistake, what do you do? Of course, you're probably going to feel a little embarrassed. That's normal. But once you sort of embrace it and you learn kind of how to like reset a bit, you won't feel as stuck. You will feel a little more confident. So again, I know that I'm speaking from the standpoint of someone who speaks English as their native language, but you do just have to keep going. Right now, I am studying Japanese, and I make so many mistakes, but I have learned, and my teacher is so amazing because she just lets it happen. I fix it, and then I move on. So here is a great strategy if you're really, really stuck and you kind of like have that deer in the headlights look. Oh, that's a good phrase. Deer in the headlights. Around where I live in Pennsylvania, we have a lot of deer, the cute little animals. Yes, lots and lots of them. And they're a problem because they get into the middle of the road at night. And when your headlights from your car, the lights on your car, hit them, they freeze and they don't do anything. And so that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid that deer in the headlights look where they stop and they kind of go like this. We're going to embrace the moment. We are going to pause. You're going to take a deep breath and relax. This is key. When you have something that happens, and a lot of times you will just feel like so just, upset about it. Don't worry, just relax the stress, and don't tense up your mouth. Okay. Just relax everything. And then you are going to repeat, but this time slower. And then just move on. Okay, so we're going to think about pause, breathe and relax, and repeat. Okay, so I'm going through, I make a mistake, I'm going to stop. Take a deep breath, relax. I'm exaggerating, of course. And then you will just repeat and you will continue. So that's what we're going to do is just pause, breathe, and repeat. Okay, so let's everyone just take a pause. Now take a deep breath and relax everything. Don't forget, relax those shoulders. I have so many people that will be able to relax their face, relax their mouth, but then their shoulders are up here. So you still have this tension that is like creeping in. So just relax everything. And then you are going to repeat slower and then keep going and go on your merry way. All right. So I thought this was really interesting when I was preparing for this, that a 1 second pause is long enough to reset your mouth and your brain, but it's short enough that your audience only perceives it as a thoughtful transition. So that's really interesting. 1 second may feel like a lifetime when you are in that moment, but most people don't perceive it as that. They perceive it as just a thoughtful transition. I think this is important to kind of stop and think about, is that oftentimes we think that things are way worse than they actually are. And so again, just always remind yourself that most people in the room are not thinking that this is the end of the world like you are. People will be just thinking that, oh, that 1 second, you are just taking that to like recenter yourself and to recenter your thoughts. And then you are going to move on. And that is a very thoughtful thing to do for your audience. So kind of keep that perception in mind. And if you're still not believing me, here we go. I have a little more data for you. So if you apologize as your recovery and you say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, then people think that you made a smooth recovery like 45% of the time. They're going to think that that is like a confident, smooth recovery. But if you do that reset that we just talked about, which is you're going to pause, relax, and then start again slowly, then the research suggests that audiences rate speakers higher on leadership when they correct themselves without over apologizing. And that is a 92% confidence rating. So again, it's not the mistake. It's how you react to that mistake and how you recover. And I use this line in my classes all the time. And as all of you probably know, I was a speech pathologist practicing for like 30 years. And I would always say, especially to the kids that I worked with, oh my gosh, that's the most amazing mistake. Let's learn from that. And so try to reframe your mistakes as that. Wow, this is a great mistake. I'm going to learn from this. And chances are, once you make a mistake, you are not going to make that mistake again. Okay, so let me stop sharing this screen and let's move on to looking at some mistakes that may be a Canon event in your life. And if they haven't been, then this might be one of those events because these are my embarrassing mistake lessons. And I want everyone to think about my channel, not just as something where you're going to be learning a new word or something every week, but use it as a way to go back and to practice. All right, so let's make this bigger. All right, so here are my embarrassing mistake playlist lessons. I have a lot of them, as you can see. If you have more, go ahead and put those in the chat, please, because you are not the only one who has made these mistakes. These are common. And again, they can be embarrassing, but you can also just take them as a Canon event and move on. And in some cases, like even laugh about it with people. All right, so the number one most viewed video of embarrassing mistakes is the word Coke. And this is the drink, Coke or Coca-Cola. So in English, we have this very long O vowel, And our mouth moves more for this vowel than it does in many other languages for the O sound. And so think about moving your mouth, O, and making that sound longer, and that is going to fix that mistake. You can watch the video if you want to hear the embarrassing mistake. We're just going to talk about how you pronounce these words today. Okay, another embarrassing mistake is the number 6. 6. So interestingly, I've gotten a few comments on this video that 6 and then the mistake sex are actually it's an actual use of the word, that they're sort of the same, pronounced the same in some other places. So just know that in America, we pronounce those words differently, and the word 6 is going to have a more closed mouth, and the tip of your tongue is going to be high and behind your top teeth, but it is not touching. 6, 6, 6. All right. Next, we have the word health. This is not super embarrassing, but it could be embarrassing, especially like maybe if you're a doctor or a nurse or something. And for this, it is about that TH sound. Health, health, health. Okay, so that is the TH sound, where you really want to stick the tongue out of the mouth and keep the air moving over the tongue. Health, health, health. All right. Number 4, sheet. All right, so I have number 4 and number 7. And I think I actually have one more. No, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's it. So number 4 and number 7 are both the word sheet. So I always say, think about loving a sheet of paper so much that it makes you smile, because when you smile, your mouth will be nice and tense. The tip of your tongue will be really high and flat in the mouth. And then make that vowel really long. Sheet. I think all of you know the mistake here would be shit. And if you look at the difference there, sheet, shit. I am smiling. My cheeks are tense. Everything is kind of engaged and tense. That makes my tongue go nice and high in my mouth. And so that mistake is mistake number 4, sheet. Okay. Next up, we have the word teeth. Again, we are talking about that long E sound in teeth, teeth, teeth. All right. Now let's go on to number 6 here, because number 4, 5, and 6 are about that long E sound. So smile for these, nice and high and flat, E, E, E. So let's practice the words. We have sheet, 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 teeth, 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 and beach, beach, beach. Okay, one more time. We're going to try each of those. Sheet, teeth, beach. Awesome. Okay, how did you do, everyone? All right. Let's do number 7 here, because we have a couple of mistakes in this lesson. So yes, I talk about sheet and seat, but here's the other mistake: the first sound in the word. So is it seat or is it sheet versus shit and sit? Okay, so the SH sound, you have rounded lips. Shh. And for the S sound, you have more smiling lips. So if we're doing those long vowels again, for that long E, since I feel like this is the practice we're getting into today, we are going to say seat and then sheet. Seat, sheet. Seat and sheet. Okay. Very, very good. Yeah. Beach is a little bit harder to say. Someone just put this in the chat. And the reason is because your lips close for that B sound. And so for a lot of people, it's really difficult to move from that sound to wide open for that long E. So I say break the word apart. Okay. We're going to break it into two things. Let's try the word B, 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 and I'll put that in the chat. B. Okay. Now let's try the word each, each, each. Okay. When you watch me say these for the B, B, I'm kind of going from my lips being a little more forward to pulled back. Same thing for that E, but in reverse, for the each rather. I'm going to go each. So I'm doing beach. So think about your lips for that, right? You want to move your lips more to make sure you pull your lips back. If you pull your lips back enough and you get your cheeks engaged, that is going to help you avoid that I sound. So just watch the long E and then the short I. So if you're saying the word beach and you don't move your lips as much, you can even hear with me, it's a little bit closer to that short I sound. So really move those lips for that. Beach, beach, beach. Okay, so let's try that one more time. B, B, B. Each, each, each. Beach, beach, beach. Okay, awesome. All right, next up, number 8, we have the word as. And this mistake is because many people say ass with an S. Yes, this word is spelled with an S, but we actually use the letter Z sound. So we're going to say as. In connected speech, which means in a sentence, in conversation, we oftentimes don't use the we'll use more of an but what is going to be in common is that we are still going to use that Z sound as. Okay. We're going to do three more. I just said 2. 3 more. I used my Canon Event. I used my repair there. I just kind of kept going, reset and kept going. So I have the word next, fork. You eat with a fork. All of my food service people out there, let's practice this one. Again, this is about moving the mouth more. Or. Many people who make a mistake with this word say, That is not what you're asking for. You are asking for a fork. So move your mouth. I have many classes. I've done a lot of podcast episodes on this, and I talk about it a lot in my lessons. One great trick for improving your pronunciation immediately is to think about moving your mouth more. Even if you don't know what you're doing, even if you're just making it up as you go along and not applying any like actual sound rules, it doesn't matter. It makes you sound better immediately. So move your mouth more, and that is going to fix a lot of mistakes. Okay. Number 10, we have the word other, and that is with that voiced TH sound. So for that voiced TH, Your tongue has to be out of your mouth so that air can move over the top of your tongue. You can see I have a little cup in my mouth. If you have people who in your life who are born and raised as a native English speaker, they may touch their tongue to the teeth, but it's more on the sides. So if you are not one of those people and you usually say a D because you're touching your teeth, think about leaving space so that you can do other. Other. So you can see my tongue is out and then I pull it in as I make that TH sound. There. Other. The mistake I hear is the word utter. This is not a very common word, so you might not know what that is, but it is actually the part of a girl cow where we get the milk. So where you milk the cow, that is the udder. So we are trying to say the word other, not utter. All right. And the last mistake that we are going to do for today before we wrap up is the word focus. I think the reason this video is not number one is because most people don't know they make this mistake. So most people that I work with actually make this mistake and they have no idea. So this is now one of the first words that I work on with all of my students because this one is an embarrassing one. So the word is focus. We're on number 12 here. I'll bring it to the top. I'm sorry, number 11, focus. Focus. Okay. This is a couple of things we're going to be working on. Long vowel in the O, fo. So you want to really move your mouth and you want to make that vowel long. And you want to make sure that you stress that syllable. That means it is going to be louder, longer, higher in pitch. Syllable number 2 will be shorter, softer, and lower in pitch. So we have focus. Focus. Okay, everybody. That is all that I have for today. So just a quick recap. If you make a mistake, let's use it as a Canon event. Let's up your ability to correct and to not let these things just stop you in your tracks, making you a deer in the headlights. You are going to quickly pause about 1 second, take a deep breath, relax everything, and then start again slowly. That is going to really help you just kind of own the situation, and people are going to think that you are very, very confident because you just fixed the mistake and you move on. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. I was looking at the chat. Okay, so let's look at questions, everyone. All right, 2 words, Appalachia and Appalachian. I also hear Appalachian. So again, I hate to say one is correct, one isn't. There's variations regionally in the US. So you can say Appalachia or Appalachia. And then Appalachian, I don't think I hear Appalachian. Maybe I do. Yeah. So you can say that too. So I'll teach you how I say it. Appalachia. And then Appalachian. So the Appalachian Mountains and Appalachia. So I think my husband is on the call. Do you say that differently at all? I'm not sure. Again, I'm from Western Pennsylvania. We sometimes say words that are slightly different than other areas of the country. And so every once in a while, for like a word that I'm not 100% sure about, I have to ask someone else. And I'll do a quick chat GPT on that one for you as well to see what they say. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay. Oh, voucher and vulture. Okay, we'll get to that next. Okay. So according to the AI, it's Appalachian. Or Appalachian. So I was correct. You can pronounce that either way. And my husband says there's no other way to pronounce it. Thank you, Rob. Again, I get a little confused on that. And then let me do Appalachia as well. Yeah, same with that. So lay or latch. Okay. So for voucher and vulture. All right. So the ending is going to be the same. Chur, chur, chur. So you're going to touch the tip of the tongue to the back of the top front teeth where you say a T to start that CH sound. Ch. And then you have the square tense lips, tip of the tongue down or flipped back. Okay, chur. Now for voucher, which is VOUCHER, move your mouth for the ow, ow, ow. Voucher. For vulture, you need an L in there. So you have a couple of ways to do this. So if it's really difficult for you and you really want to say vulture instead of voucher, think about really hitting the teeth for that L. Vulture. Vulture. You can also say vulture, where your tongue gets kind of close for that L, but doesn't touch the whole way. That's a dark L. Either is fine, but the big key here is move your mouth more for that ow, voucher. And then it's going to be more up and down movement with the tongue for that L for vulture. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, for the word Appalachia, let me put in the phonetic spellings for you. So I'm just using what came up here. Okay. And I have one more. Hold on one second. Okay. And then here is the spelling of the word. Okay, I think I put those in the wrong order, but you get the idea. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, we are out of time for today. I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching all of my videos, for all of your kind comments. I see a lot of you in the chat who regularly comment on my videos, and I really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate you sharing with your friends. And check out all of these embarrassing mistake lessons. They are super helpful, and it is going to allow you to practice and to avoid a Canon event of your own. But just remember, if you make a mistake, that's okay. Just take a quick pause, reset, and then try it again a little slower and a little more precisely. So you are all the best. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you all again soon.